What is up, everyone? It is Alan from AG Reviews, and I am back at it again for the ninth episode of the Scene and Screen podcast. And yeah, I've had a pretty crazy week. Got to see got a couple theater trips. Got to see a new release, re-release. So we'll kind of get into that. Obviously, if you want to contribute to the conversation, you could always comment down below. I will read comments if there is any at the end of each topic. Once we talk about certain things, and then at the end we'll kind of read any comments that are out there. So yeah, not as heavy on the new release reviews that I'll be doing on today's show. When it comes to new releases, I only got to see one film last week, and that was the new A24 release, The Smashing Machine, starring Dwayne Johnson, Emily Blunt. I know one of the Safdie brothers are the ones that's wrote and directed. I don't remember which one it was. I think it might have been Benny. I could be wrong on that one. So let's get into it. What I thought about the film. I'll start off with the positives on how I felt about it. The performances in this film are absolutely fantastic. And we'll start off with the lead. Dwayne Johnson, to me, gives the best performance that he's had in his career. He really actually has to act here, which I really enjoyed because obviously from Dwayne, we have been getting a lot of the same performances over the last so many number of years, where he's basically just playing himself, and he's in these big blockbuster, $250 million projects like Fast and Furious, Jumanji, or even those overbloated Netflix action movies that he's been in. And here, it's really a transformation. He really transforms into Marker in this film. He really shows a level of vulnerability in the acting department that I don't think we've ever seen from him. Flat out, I'm just going to say it. This is the best performance of his career. He does such a tremendous job. Obviously, from the makeup and prosthetics that they give him, they basically transform him completely into Mark Kerr. So that kind of helps, take away that's The Rock, and really makes him Mark Kerr. Obviously, his voice, still I could tell it was Dwayne under all that, but he just brings such a nuanced performance, a very vulnerable performance. And I'll kind of jump up to my second point of what I really liked about this. I'm a huge MMA guy. If anyone knows me, I religiously watch the UFC. Very knowledgeable on the history of MMA. And, Mark Kerr was one of the OG guys when it was still the very early days of the UFC and when it was still Pride. Most of this movie takes place during the Pride era. And then you get a little bit of mention of the UFC in the film, but it's mostly surrounded around Pride. And compared to the modern day fighters, a lot of the fighters back then fought with honor, and it was truly about just the combat, not about the riches and the money and the fame that, a lot of the fighters nowadays, seek out, right? It's a prize fighting, right? So now that the prizes are so big and the money is there, with MMA, this really did a perfect job encapsulating what that early era of mixed martial arts was, where these guys just fought for the honor and for the combat. And, Dwayne's performance in that does a really good job at the vulnerability, at the friendliness, even though he's clearly, a beast and someone who can, destroy an average person. He shows a really good job in a vulnerability and, just gives the best performance of his career here. Now, Emily Blunt, I think, is just as good as Dwayne in this movie. I would not be surprised if she gets some Oscar noms here. And even for Dwayne, I don't know if we're necessarily going to have Oscar buzz about his performance, but I do really believe that this is by far the best performance of his career. I think it's the one where he actually has to act. And I haven't seen him do that in quite some time, really since his early days when he was first on the come up in the acting business. So it was really refreshing to see from him. And then, like I said, Emily Blunt's performance and their chemistry with one another is really what makes this movie work. They both do a very good job at demonstrating like a realistic toxic relationship, and they don't really give you a lot of that in the trailers, which I actually kind of enjoyed because I didn't expect it. I don't know too much on like the personal history of Mark Kerr. I know about the professional side and what he did in the cage, and in Pride and in UFC. Um, but I didn't know, much about his personal life. So when you got into the relationship with him and Emily Blunt, and it was a lot more toxic than I was expecting, or what the trailers portrayed. I really liked that dynamic, and I really think that did help Dwayne have the performance he did because he had someone like Emily Blunt and someone of her caliber to kind of go back and forth with and bounce off of. So that was to me really good. The performances they stand out very much here. They carry the film, in my opinion. The second thing I really, really liked, I talked about it before. I'm a huge MMA guy, a big UFC guy, and just the authenticity and the rebuilding of that original time when the sport was first like in its inception, before it became the global phenomenon that it is now. Recreating those early days, recreating the Pride arenas, even recreating the original venue where Mark Kerr had his first fight. Like I went back and watched a video of it because you can find it online, and it looks identical in the film. So recreating that whole vibe and what those early days of MMA were, I thought did a great job. Like there's even a scene, and it was kind of in the trailer, where Dwayne's he's in like a doctor's office, and he's talking to a little girl and her mom, and he's like kind of just trying to explain what MMA is to them, and they're just like, "Yo, isn't that like very barbaric?" And they're trying to ban it and everything, and it just kind of was. It was a cool little time capsule to kind of show you how far the sport has come, and how much it's changed and how much it's evolved. Because now it's normal and but it's commonplace and very popular now. So I thought that was really, really well done. How they created the vibe and what it was like in those early days of the history of MMA. So I thought that was really great. And then obviously, and it was Betty Safdie. I did just check that, who directed and wrote this. Obviously, his direction and like the aesthetic of the visuals and the cinematography were all great. I don't think either of the Safdie brothers have ever been weak in that area. Like all of their films look visually incredible, and I think they do a really good job with how they film it and the sound design and the music. I thought from like a aesthetic place, everything was great about the film. It looked beautiful. Everything was done well on that front. But to me, like that's kind of where the positives end. And really my biggest issue with the film is the way it's shot. This is essentially like a documentary in the way that it's kind of playing out and the way that they present the story to you. And a part of me kind of thinks that might have been a mistake because this movie kind of could have benefited from like some of those, based on a true story Hollywood tropes where maybe they exaggerate things a little bit for dramatic effect. The film kind of felt like it was just a day in the life of Mark Kerr, and it could have benefited from a little bit more excitement and a little bit more of a through line when it came to the plot and the narrative and like the arc that he was going on. And, I've heard people mention that there is a documentary on HBO about Mark Kerr, the same title and everything. It's called The Smashing Machine. And a lot of the scenes from this movie were shown in that. And they basically did those scenes like beat for beat and did them exactly how they were in real life. And, I appreciate that Benny Safdie went for that authenticity and tried to make it at kind of like a documentary style where you're just living a day in the life with Mark Kerr. But yeah, I just felt like that story-wise, it was kind of missing something because they went that route. Like I could kind of give an example. It's not really too spoilery, but like one of the first big fights that he has in Pride in Japan, you could tell something's off about him. Like he's not all there like how he was for the previous fights. And essentially he ends up losing the fight. And then after the fight, Emily Blunt's character is talking about how he was partying and doing drugs and doing all this crazy stuff and not actually taking his training serious or the fight serious. And I thought that, it would have been a little bit better to maybe kind of get the fill in the blanks, right? Like fill in those gaps and let you kind of see him unraveling rather than just kind of being told. So yeah, overall, I think it was an enjoyable movie. I did really like the performances. Like I said, the aesthetic of it, all the kind of history that it gives you when it comes to, that OG time frame in the MMA world. I thought that was really cool. It does tell a story about Mark Kerr of like who he was as a person, and it does go into some darker elements that I wasn't really expecting. Maybe that's just from me not knowing about him as a fighter and as a personality. But yeah, overall, I mean, I don't think it was terrible. I thought it was solid. It's not as good as maybe some of the critics will say it is. I don't know if it's necessarily award worthy, like maybe some of the other Safdie Brothers projects before were. But overall, I had a good time. And to me, this is a great first direction for Dwayne Johnson to be getting into the more serious roles and actually trying to show his range as an actor. I read a thing earlier that I think he took like a massive pay cut to make this happen. And I would like to see some of that. The guy has made millions of dollars doing, these slop blockbusters, that one of them we're going to talk about here a little bit later. So I would like to see something a little bit more like this and then like to see him expand his range here. Because really the performance he puts here puts him on par with some of the best work that like Cena and Batista have done. And those are obviously the other two guys, who come from the wrestling realm to have turned actors. And I've always said that I think Batista's the best, but if Dwayne can keep doing roles like this, he'll have an argument to be in there. So, yeah, thoroughly enjoyed his performance. I liked the movie, didn't love it. I would definitely say if you're interested in watching it, check it out. I think, give it a shot, give it your own opinion, and go from there. So, yeah, 1 second here. All right, so we are going to go ahead and move on here. All right, so we're going to talk about Gen V. I know I haven't really had a chance to talk about it yet. I was a little behind on watching it. It took some time for me to get caught up, especially with the way how like they dropped the first 3 episodes, and go from there. I'm very thoroughly enjoying this season so far. I think with this season, I was a little disappointed with season 4 of The Boys. I'll be honest. That season felt like a lot of setup and not really a lot of payoff. Here, though, I feel like we are setting up a very, very strong B story in this universe that I think is going to eventually obviously overtake and become the A side since we're getting to the end of The Boys here. So to start off, Rip, obviously, they had some issues production-wise because I don't know, I can't remember the guy's name. Chance something. Jeez, I'm kind of butchering this right now. But yeah, so the guy who played Jesus, man, Andre. The guy who played Andre, he is, obviously he passed away in real life. It was a tragedy. The guy was super young. So really, it reminds me of the situation when we had Chadwick Boseman, passing while they were basically working on Black Panther 2. You can really feel his absence here. And not only just as like the character and the actor, you can feel it in the story. Like I really felt like that first episode of this season coming back felt a little weird because it felt like all they were doing was talking about what happened with Chance and trying to write into the story of why he's not here. And I think what they end up giving you, and they kind of touch on it over the episodes and continue, and what they give you, I think eventually does work and does do like a good job at kind of filling that gap. But it did feel a little jarring to start off. I feel like they had a lot of ground to make up and ways to tie it in. But what they end up giving you, I think, works really well. And then once you get past that initial stage, I think after like episode 2 and on, it has just been top tier Boys Universe style stuff. I will say what I think works so well is all of these characters that we have here in God U and all, between Marie, Emma, Jordan, even Kate. I feel like I didn't really like what they did with Kate in the first season, but here they're kind of putting her on somewhat of a redemptive arc, and I like there. Sam, I feel like a little bit like repetitive in the story that we're telling with him. We're kind of just doing the same beats that we did last season. So I didn't really love what we've gotten with him so far, but everyone else, I feel like the writing has been great. All of the follow-ups with like Victoria Newman's death, continuing Marie's storyline, and about where like her sister is and where her family is. Everything has been really good there. Obviously, we got the main villain so far of this season, Cypher, has been incredible. I think he's one of the best villains that we've gotten so far in the Boys universe. He's very menacing and very intelligent, and we don't even understand yet fully what his powers are. Like, we haven't gotten to a point yet where they've really we kind of have an idea. Like, it's kind of like a Professor X-ish situation where like he can read minds or mind control people, and I love that we're kind of keeping it ambiguous and not diving right into what Cypher is and what he can do. Obviously, I have theories out there. We're going to get into some spoilers here about what it is, especially after the last episode where we see him taking care of this like old corpse in his house, so that Kate and Jordan discovered the episode prior. In my mind, I believe it's Thomas Godolkin, and that's who Cypher actually is. We'll kind of just get right into it. I think that there is some weird kinetic thing going on where Thomas Godolkin is controlling Cypher's body, and it's actually him, just like he was controlling Jordan's body in the fight with Marie. So I really think that that's probably what the reveal is going to be here in another, because I think we only have 3 episodes left at this point. That's probably going to be one of the reveals, that he is Thomas Godolkin, which I think he was played by Ariana Grande's boyfriend, which I think my wife pointed that out when we were watching it. That was kind of a funny little cameo. But yeah, overall, I mean, I just really love this universe. It's so deep. It's so rich. Like, there's so much lore that they can explore. And I'm really hoping that, maybe season 4 of The Boys had to be a little bit of a step back. So then that way we can really start setting up the big plot points that are going to happen in the finale of The Boys season 5. And then also set this unit, because this is the series I think that's going to really be like the main show going forward once The Boys is done. And I think they've done a great job at setting up the characters to allow for that to happen. So overall, I'm loving this season so far, and I'm eagerly awaiting tomorrow's new episode and every episode after that until it's over. And then I'm very curious to see how it ties into the mainline Boys series, because I think what they're doing, particularly with Marie so far this season, is really gonna tie in. So this is my wife here commenting. Honestly, loving Gen V. The writing is top tier in my opinion. I can't wait to see more of Marie and her powers versus Homelander. I think so. Obviously, Sister Sage and Cypher are up to something here. There's something going on, and they have a plan that involves Marie that Homelander does not know about. I find that super interesting, because obviously Sister Sage is much more intelligent than Homelander is. It's clearly kind of pulling the strings. So I'm very curious. I think, there's theories out there about maybe Marie is going to be so powerful at some point that she extracts the V from Homelander. They're setting that up. I'll say that. They're doing a good job at setting that type of storyline to go there. To set that up. So I definitely agree with this take. I definitely want to see how they play these characters into that final season of The Boys. I don't think it'll be a huge part of it, but I think it'll be a crucial part, if that makes sense. Like, I still think we're going to focus in The Boys on the original characters and everybody there to finish their stories off, but I think the characters here, specifically Marie, they're going to play a very important role in that final season of The Boys. Definitely feels like reshoots. Yeah, there's multiple times, and I think we even talked about this before, Caitlin, where it feels like there was a very extended sequence in Elmira that is now gone, because Chance was a part of it. Andre was an important part of it. And, like, obviously he's not there anymore, so they couldn't continue on with what they originally wanted to do. So a lot of those scenes feel like, okay, this isn't exactly where we're going with the storyline. But like I said, even with being able to notice that and tell with the editing, I still think they've done a great job with what they've been given. It kind of feels like Wakanda Forever again, where it's like they were dealt a tragedy, they were dealt a really shitty hand, but they've done the best that they could with it. So I'm there. You said, yep, LOL, agree. I don't know what that was for, but that's okay. We'll kind of move on. I'm assuming it was maybe my theory about Marie being very important in taking down Homelander. Yep, Mr. SpongeBob. Yeah, that was a weird cameo. That was not one I was expecting. Yeah, of all the people to show up in The Boys, I don't think he was the one that I would be expecting. So, honestly, not gonna lie, I like Gen V more than The Boys. I know it's a hot take. I don't know how hot of a take that is. I mean, obviously, I think overall I still prefer The Boys because those first 3 seasons of The Boys were just absolutely incredible. But if you're talking from the time season 3 of The Boys ended and Gen V started till now, I definitely agree and think that Gen V has had the better seasons of the last 3 that we've gotten. I can definitely agree with that. I just think that the world they're building here and that this corner of the universe has been a little bit better storylines and a little bit better written. So I don't think that's a hot take, especially with the last couple seasons. I think that you're on point with that. Like I said, though, I'm hoping, that season 5 of the mainline show finishes it off in a satisfying and exciting way. And then, once we get to the ending there, it's satisfying, and then we can kind of bring Gen V in as like the main A-tier show going forward. So yeah. Okay, so we're going to move on. We'll obviously continue to talk about this going forward. I mean, I don't even know when we're getting season 5 of The Boys. I know that's probably coming, I would assume, at the beginning of the year, so we'll see there. So we're going to move on to the next topic, and one that I am very excited about, but I don't know how much other people are excited about because it's a very underrated show, and that is Peaky Blinders. Peaky Blinders is coming back fully as a sequel series. It's going to be 2 seasons. I guess it's going to follow a new generation of Shelbys in 1953, post-World War II. Cillian Murphy is involved, which I'm very happy about. Tommy Shelby is one of the greatest characters of all time. I don't care what anyone says. Cillian Murphy has a great career. He's been in iconic movies, obviously. He was in 28 Days Later. He played Scarecrow. He just won an Oscar last year for Oppenheimer. He's played a million roles in Christopher Nolan films, but this is, for me, I don't know if this is a hot take or not for anyone who's actually watched Peaky Blinders. Tommy Shelby is Cillian Murphy's best role that he's ever had. Hands down. And it's up there. Like, his role as Tommy Shelby is up there with, like, Tony Soprano, Walter White, Dexter Morgan, all of the great protagonists out there. He's at the top of it, too. And I get so upset that no one, like, a lot of people don't know about this show, and it's because it's based in the UK. But it is such a hidden gem, and it is one that if you haven't watched it, please watch it. You'll love it. When it comes to that original run of the show, I was a little bit disappointed. I don't think it ended as well as it probably should have. I feel like those first 4 seasons were just perfection. And then the last 2 seasons, it was kind of like, okay, this is running its course a little bit here. So I think doing a sequel series now is a good way to kind of get a fresh slate, bring in some new characters, obviously still have the original family, the original characters, and give us something new to digest on. On top of that, we're also getting the movie. They're making a Peaky Blinders movie that Cillian Murphy is starring in as well. That's coming out next year. That has been confirmed. The movie's going to be coming out first. If it's coming out in theaters, dude, I'll be there day one. I don't care what anyone says. I'm going to the theater to watch me some Tommy Shelby. So we'll see. That one is supposedly, we got a little bit more information from the director and the writer. That one is going to take place during World War II. So essentially the movie will take place during World War II, and then the show for 2 seasons will take place post-World War II. So I kind of like what we're doing here. I've even had conversations before with people who watch the show, my wife included, who have talked about how it would be a very interesting dynamic to see the Shelbys in a either World War II or post-World War II setting, because obviously their characters are really affected and have a lot of PTSD from being in World War I. So I feel like that's a very interesting dynamic to put the Shelby family into. So I'm super ecstatic. I was very happy when I heard this news, and I cannot wait to see what they do in both the movie and in this sequel series. Like I said, if you guys have not watched Peaky Blinders, please go watch it. It is an incredible show, and one that is super underrated, and I think deserves more love than it gets. So let's see here. I absolutely cannot wait for Peaky Blinders. I think maybe Barry Cohegan will play his son with Grace in this time jump. Very interesting theory. That's a good theory. I like that one. The only thing I'm a little confused about when it comes to like the World War II setting for the movie is Tommy Shelby going to be able to be drafted? Something tells me no. So I wonder if Barry Cohegan, if what you say is true, Caitlin, Barry Cohegan is going to be the one that gets drafted, and that it's like a PTSD for Tommy from a different perspective, because it's not him and it's his son who has to go to war. I just wonder how that's going to play out. I'm very, very curious to see. Yeah, no, he's too old. That's what I thought. I was like, I'm pretty sure at the end of the show he was like 40 something already, and this is supposedly going to take place like even 10 years after that. So I'm like, there ain't no way he's getting drafted or anything. So yeah, I wonder if that's where they're going to go with it. And, we're going to, that's essentially what it's going to be, is that, he's going to have stress and maybe working around trying to get his son out of the war or something. I don't know. I'm just very interested to see all these years later where the family's at, because where they were at the end of the show wasn't them in like their peak, right? Like everybody was kind of at their worst when it came down to it. So I'm very curious to see where these characters are going to be at. I'm a little bit disappointed that it seems like some of the original characters besides Cillian Murphy are not coming back for the film. I would have really liked to have seen all the characters back for that movie and the sequel series, honestly. Obviously, I'm a huge Arthur guy. I thought Arthur was one of the best side characters, his brother. And, still to me, the most, crazy moment was when they faked his death in season 4 with Luca Turngretta. So, I would love to see everyone back, but it doesn't look like everyone's going to come back for the movie, but they will be back for the show. So, either way, I'm very happy. I think we're very blessed to be getting the show back, because again, I thought, in my mind when the show ended, I thought that was the end of the TV and a lot of the side characters, and then the movie was basically just going to be the finale for Tommy Shelby. So now that we're kind of moving away from it being a conclusion and setting up something new for the sequel series, has me very excited. I'm looking forward to it, and I can't wait. So okay, so we're gonna go ahead. Oh, hold on one second. Me too, because the Shelbys were dwindling down in numbers at the end of last season, like you said, especially with the OG characters not returning. I'm interested in how the story will go. Yeah. I think that's also, it could end up being a positive too, because maybe getting a new slate, getting some new characters in there, maybe that'll help, and it'll freshen up the series a little bit, because that is the thing I didn't like. It started to feel a little stale by the end, and they got to bring back Tom Hardy as Alfie Solomons. That's got to happen. I'm sorry, I don't care what anyone says. Tom Hardy as Alfie Solomons in that show. That's one of my favorite roles of Tom Hardy too. I won't say it's his best, like it is for Cillian, but he's so good as Alfie. That's him and Tommy are like yin and yang in that show. So, I really want to see him back. I really hope he comes back. So, okay, so we're gonna go ahead and move on here. Give me 1 second here. I am going to bring in a guest. I got Mr. 180 here. Ronell, are you there?
Yes, sir. What's going on, man?
going on, man? Good to have you back on.
Uh,
Always
Good to
looking
be
to
here,
have you on.
man.
Yeah. Shalom. Yes.
I was gonna,
Yeah. Sorry.
I was gonna say, Tom Hardy's character in Peaky, um, Peaky, I forget what it's
Peaky
called.
Blinders.
I'm
Yeah.
drawing a blank. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like his character too. So
Do you watch that show?
I, I see, I watch it sometimes, and I
Okay.
really, I like. So I got to get back into it because actually love what I saw. Like I
Okay.
love what I watched, and so I
Yeah.
just caught snippets of it and stuff, and then I was like, man,
Yeah.
because I like both actors, and
Yeah.
so I got to get more into it. So now that I know you watch it, I'm gonna
Yeah.
definitely get into it.
Yeah. It's like I said, it's super underrated, and the dynamic between Cillian Murphy and Tom Hardy is it's one of the best. Like, and
Yeah,
they're not villains, right? Like, Tom Hardy's
right.
not like a villain. It's like a weird antagonistic relationship, but they're also like friends too. It's so good. It's
Yeah.
really really good. So yeah, so we'll move on though from that. I know I've been talking about these couple topics. Anything else? I know you kind of commented in our private chat. Anything else you wanted to add to any of the stuff that I was talking about earlier? Or
Um, no, not really. I think you touched bases on
yeah,
all of it, man. I was
are you
gonna
playing
say,
it? Are you playing it on
go ahead.
seeing
I'm
the
sorry.
Smashing Machine?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
am planning on seeing the Smashing Machine.
Okay.
I did agree that Batista has is probably my best wrestling actor.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Serious roles, he could play
Yeah.
those like
Oh yeah.
no other.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
I
agree.
think
That's what I was saying. I agree on.
okay. Yeah, I think you're right. I think he's like the top. That's the standard, right? That of like
Yeah,
wrestlers turned actors. He's the guy who's at the
yeah,
top. But hey, if Dwayne keeps doing this, he could be there. I don't know. I don't know if it's necessarily on Batista's level, but he's not too far off with these types of roles. Playing fucking Hobbs and you know, Jumanji. I don't know about that, but with these serious roles, yeah, he can probably do it. So okay, so let's move on. You still there? Oh, did we lose him? All right, hold on 1 second here. Oh, hold on 1 second. You there?
Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you now.
Oh, I can't hear you. Hold on.
No?
Sure, I can hear you.
Let me see here. Can you hear now?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, hold on.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, I can hear you.
I can't hear you. That's the crazy
No?
part.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Let's see here.
Let me see. Hold on. Okay, that was on. I'm not sure what's going on.
Can you hear me now?
Let me try to leave out and come back.
Okay.
I don't know what.
All right. Technical difficulties, guys. Sorry. Love using StreamYard, but sometimes we have a little bit of problems with some of the technical difficulties. We are going to move on to Peacemaker, though. So we will, as soon as I can get him back, we're going to start talking. You hear
All
me
right.
right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. We're back. Awesome. Okay, so yeah, we're going to talk about some Peacemaker here. Obviously, a lot of revelations have happened. I didn't get to have you on last week, so first
Okay.
thing we can talk about the big reveal of episode 6 before we
Yeah.
move into the most recent episode.
Okay.
I know we've kind of very small text about what we thought about it.
Yeah.
So what did you think about episode 6 and the big reveal that it was Earth X and what's going on in Peacemaker right now?
So first off, let me apologize to James Gunn. Um, I thought that he couldn't like duplicate. Here's what it does. It gives me high hopes for Superman and this whole universe now. So
Yeah.
I let me apologize to James Gunn because I really just did not see this. I didn't see this. Usually I can pick up on stuff. I
Yeah.
did not Like they hid this so well,
Yeah.
dude. Especially with the times of like like the whole state of the country is going through and everything.
Yeah.
To have
Yeah.
that, dude,
That.
it was
Yeah.
like
Yeah. It,
so.
it's
Um,
crazy that the timing worked out of like what's going on to
bruh,
have that in this as like a major storyline. I was like, what the hell, man? Did he know this was happening? I don't understand.
yeah,
Uh,
dude. You know what's crazy? I don't get mad at what's his sidekick? The one crazy nut. Um
oh, Vigilante.
Vigilante.
Yeah, yeah.
So it appears that his father was not bad in
No.
this universe.
Yeah, yeah.
Um
Well, there's been a debate kind of going on about that, right? Like, yeah, he wasn't bad, but like, was he complicit and allowed for all the injustices to happen when he could have fought back? It's like, there's a debate, but yes, he wasn't an overt Nazi like he was in the main
right.
timeline, right? Like, there was no
Yeah,
debate in
yeah.
the main universe that he was a bad person and was very racist and yeah, believed in all that stuff.
Because
Where
he met his alternate self and he was
yeah,
like, that dude was crazy.
yeah,
And then he says, when she calls him a Nazi, he said, hey, don't call me that.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm thinking when what happened, here's my theory on him. What
yeah,
happened is that it was just the times where if Nazi won the war,
yeah.
um, and that's just what it was at this. He wasn't a part of it. It's just
Yeah.
how things work.
Where yeah, exactly.
So that's what I got from that.
Yeah.
So, dude, I I can't say no more. I'm really ready to see the finale of this and see how
Yeah.
this rolls out. We'll
Yeah.
probably get another Peacemaker and his brother fighting. Oh, So,
Yeah. Yeah.
dude,
I
this
think
this is
I think we're leading to a very emotional finale where he has
yeah.
to kill Keith again. And
Yep.
because you say, Augie and his dad wasn't a Nazi. Well, Keith seemed like he was a Nazi because he was
Keith's
running
very Nazi.
after Albias. He was right. Again,
Keith's,
one got
dude.
out. Like that was Keith.
One got
man?
Right.
Like,
He's very Nazi.
yeah, and it makes me wonder because the way that the dad kind of talked about his Chris and his
Yeah.
Peacemaker, like, was Chris like that too? Probably, right? Like Chris was probably
Yeah.
bad on in that universe as well.
Yeah.
That was that the way. Like, obviously, we had even talked about, I think, because we did a podcast like right after the first episode, and we had talked about like this world is too perfect. There's clearly something going
Gotta
on
be
here.
something going on.
And I feel like they kind of gave you little nuggets, right? And if
Yeah.
you paid attention, you could see, like, you noticed that there weren't really any people of color or anything in any of the
Nothing.
other episodes. So, but the fact that they pulled the gun fully, no pun intended, they pulled the gun fully on doing Earth X, I thought was great. And then, like, you kind of touched on it in episode 7. Vigilante right away, doesn't even assess the situation. He just breaks into the window.
Goes right in.
Kills him immediately.
Oh.
Yeah, and then you get the scene obviously where then they're fighting Keith and they start beating Keith up and almost killing him. And then you get that scene, from John Cena where like he basically just freaks out because he's re-experiencing like the most traumatic thing in his life, watching his brother die again, even though this is an evil version of his brother, very clearly. I think that was done very effectively. Like, I've seen a lot of people not liking the most recent episode, and I can understand why it might have felt like a little bit of a step down, just because episode 6 had so much crazy stuff and big reveals. And then obviously too, we didn't even talk about it, but we got the cameo of Lex coming in in episode 6, and getting him in like an R-rated tone. I thought I don't know how you, because I know you weren't like the biggest fan of the Superman film. I actually kind of liked him with that little bit of edge to him, I was like, that was cool.
So I'm a fan of the whole cast of Superman and everything. It's just the story. So
the story,
the guy him playing Lex, I think he knocked it out the park.
Oh yeah, he was great.
And then seeing him, like I'm starting to see James Gunn's vision. So
Yeah.
I'm cool with it. And I can't wait to like just if you're doing this, like to me, you're just going like all in. And
Yeah.
I want that. I want
Yeah.
because DC for so long has just taken L's. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I want him to go all the way in with these
With
and
this
having them
universe.
on the
Yeah.
show and then the movie. I like stuff like that. Like when we first got Daredevil and Spider-Man,
Yeah. Yeah.
seeing that cameo, like,
It was
dude,
great.
that's
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
that I love that. So
Yeah.
yeah, no,
Well, it also
I'm
it feels like so far too, it's being done here much better, right? Like we're actually fully
yeah,
bringing in
yeah,
characters to be part of the plot. And
yeah,
whereas with like the MCU, you kind of don't really get them on like talking too much about the TV
yeah,
shows and the
yeah.
movies, right? Whereas this, no, it feels like, hey, like you need to watch these. These are all
Everything's
connected.
all connected. Yep, I
Yeah,
like that.
so I like that a lot. And then obviously, we've heard a lot of like crazy rumors, and I don't know if you saw the preview for the next episode, but I saw
Yeah,
that preview and I was like, I have no idea where this is going.
yeah.
We're
So yeah, that
obviously in for
took me out
something.
too.
Yeah, I'm like, we're in for something extremely crazy here. It
Yeah,
seems like for the finale. And like I said, or like you said, we're starting to kind of see the vision, right? We're starting to see
yep,
where James Gunn's maybe going with this. I know there's
yeah,
obviously been rumors like since he took over, people have the theory because some of the posts that he made originally when he first started that maybe we're going to a Crisis on Infinite Earths storyline,
yeah,
and I feel like some of the seeds so far in this second season that they've kind of planted. So maybe that's what we're doing, and I don't know how long it's going to be till we get there, obviously, but we're working our way towards something, and people are
yeah,
excited about DC again, which
yeah,
basically
yeah.
since they released the Snyder cut, which was a freaking director's cut of a botched movie from 7 years before, we're finally excited, right? Like we're finally like, all right,
Yeah,
people are
man.
excited. And I know that you said before, like you're on board now. I will say my only trepidation and like I'm still reserved on with James Gunn's direction for this universe. I want to see a project that he's not doing first, and then I'll say that because
Okay.
he's doing Peacemaker. He did Superman. He's doing the Superman sequel. We got Lanterns and we got Supergirl coming. Those are ones that
Yeah.
he didn't write and direct. If those are good and those feel connected and those are successes, then I say, okay, he's got it. He's going to be able to make a whole
Okay.
universe. Because right now, like we know James Gunn's a good filmmaker. We've known that.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
That's
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
yeah, that's never been that. It's like, can he coordinate a universe? And
Kenny Kevin Feige.
correct. And I know from my understanding too, I don't even think he's like in that Kevin Feige role technically, because I know he's working with I don't remember the guy's name. Peter Safran, that's his name. Peter
Yeah.
Safran, he's like the co-CEO. So I think James Gunn is more on the creative side and Safran's more the producer, right? Like
More to
making everything
okay.
work. But he's still overseeing from a creative perspective all
Right.
of the projects and
Right.
stuff. So yeah, and he kind of came out recently too and said that he doesn't want to do smaller characters and give them projects right away. He wants to kind of do what
Okay.
he did in Superman and introduce the smaller characters first
Okay.
and then expand. And I'm like, I kind of like that. I think that's how it should be
Yeah.
because I
Yeah,
feel
no,
like
that's
that's I feel like that's kind of what the problem was with like the original DC universe was like we were doing a Suicide Squad movie and the third movie, and
Yeah.
it just didn't work. They tried to do too much and rush.
Birds of Prey and
Yeah, which like that it wasn't a bad movie, but
no,
like
it wasn't. It was
yeah,
not a bad movie.
it wasn't a bad movie, but I
It
don't know
was
if that's
mad.
what we should be doing. You know what I'm saying? Like that's
Yeah.
not. Yeah, I'm like I'd rather see Dark Side or something, but like
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean we can have that conversation, for hours. So I don't want to talk about that too much. Yeah, like in kind of get back to Peacemaker. For me, like we're obviously in like the multiverse era right now, where we're telling a lot of stories about multiple versions, characters, different dimensions, yada yada yada. Like I like the way that they have used an alternate dimension in this season of television, probably the best. out of any of like the multiverse projects because it's actually telling a personal story, right?
Yeah.
It's not like, and don't get me wrong, like I love No Way Home, I love Deadpool and Wolverine, but those movies rely on us knowing characters, right, and us knowing people who are coming back. This
I like
feels
Doctor
like
Strange version, like what they did with the multiverse of
yeah.
madness.
No, I honestly, I'm a bigger defender of that than most people are. It seems like that movie kind of gets shat on a little bit.
I don't understand that, but
Yeah, and yeah, I'm like, dude, you got Sam Raimi back to do a horror movie in the MCU. Like, what are you complaining about? But all right, I guess it was because the multiverse aspect of it wasn't super like, there wasn't huge cameos or anything like that. But whatever. I'm like, that's not. I don't know. To me, that's not the reason that we do the multiverse stuff. Like you use it as a plot device, right? You use it to tell a more compelling story and to bring in characters that you otherwise wouldn't be able to use. So,
yeah.
But yeah, no, I really feel like Peacemaker's doing a good job with it so far. It's not. I don't think I like it as much as season 1. I don't know how you feel about that.
Season 1, so I think season 1 is so good because nobody I don't think we really expected. I don't think I didn't expect. Let me just say me. I didn't expect it to go that route. I didn't expect it to be that good. I know like what to expect from James Gunn, but I didn't expect him to bring out a character like Peacemaker, and you know what I'm saying?
And it actually be good, yeah.
And it actually be good. Like I was like, dang, this is really good.
Yeah.
So then coming around the second time again, like my gripe with James Gunn, he kind of over exaggerates but this one he really delivered. Like it's hard to. Like I know you was talking about The Boys and like how some of it is by the way, we got to talk about you saying that The Boys, or you like Gen V more than The Boys. That's we got to talk about that.
Well, hold on. Okay, yeah, we'll circle back after we're done with Peacemaker.
All right,
I'll clarify it a little bit more.
It's hard to like kind of circle back. Like even with Daredevil, some of the seasons was like okay. And I like Daredevil, but Luke Cage. So just second season, third season sometimes can give you like a
they can drag their feet a little bit, not as be like out of the gate like how season 1 was. Yeah.
And so for him to come around with season 2, I'm thoroughly impressed how this unfolded. So
I like I said, I think we were kind of in the same boat where we felt like the first couple episodes took a little time to get its feet and get going, but the last like 4 episodes, man, I've been really on board and I've really enjoyed what we got.
Damn, man.
Yeah, I thought it was hilarious too. How Harcourt was in the universe for like 2 minutes, and she was like, "Something's not right."
Notice?
Yeah. And then I love how I know it was played for a joke, but I love how they're in the office and they're like, "Oh, they got Mein Kampf books all over their desks. There's a huge mural of Hitler.
It's right there."
And he didn't even
she
notice.
Looks at him like,
"What?
This is your perfect universe?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, you know what I'm saying?"
Like, "Oh,
so
shit."
it just really just showed how screwed up he was.
Yeah. Well, I think it was he was so hyper fixated on having his dad and his brother back, right? And like having a family that actually was a family. But it's like, dude, you gotta like pay attention to what's going on.
Saying, Alec.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. He's so screwed up. He didn't see none of this going on.
I thought that was so good.
And then now he killed. Now it makes it like it gives more volume to when he killed those freedom fighters.
Yeah.
You know, so
they were the good guys, and he just killed them.
They were the good guys.
Nobody cared.
Nobody cared.
Yeah.
And so, man.
I thought that was really cool, too, that they basically confirmed that Vigilante is in the Sons of Liberty, too. So it's like, because remember how they were talking about how they had all the similar things, and then they were like, "Oh, is Peacemaker your best friend?" He's like, "No, I hate Peacemaker. Christopher Smith."
I can't stand that guy.
Yeah.
So man. So now, even though I'm a big Vigilante fan, so even though he made that crazy that situation with his father, I'm like a huge fan of that character. And then when they go down to the his basement, and he has
The coke and the money all over the
he's rich. He's
Yeah.
rich. Like he's rich.
Yeah.
And they
You
looking
got
like,
millions
dude,
of dollars.
you got
Yeah.
millions of dollars sitting here. Dude. So
You
yeah.
can't spend it though, because it's all freaking drug money and blood money, you know?
But if he that's what makes it so like I think this
Yeah.
what makes this series
It works
this
so
season
well.
so good. Yeah. It just
I think
so,
the cast here, like the supporting cast too, like all Economos, Adabias, Vigilante, Hardcore, like they're all great. Like it's a whole solid cast all around. And I know we didn't even talk about it, but bro, the way that Rick Flag Sr. is moving in this universe,
bro.
wait till they bring Batman in, dude. That knee he hit Chris with, I was like, bro, how is he alive?
Yeah. Yeah.
I couldn't believe that.
I'm really liking too. It's really different from the sometimes people try to like from the first series kind of just keep that story going. They really went separate from that and went a whole nother angle.
Yeah.
I am liking Rick Flag Sr., but he's always been a good actor. So
yeah.
He slays everything he touches. So
yeah. Well, I like too the storyline how they brought in, Junior from Suicide Squad being like with Harcourt and stuff. So it kind of explains why Harcourt had like animosity towards Peacemaker.
Yeah.
And then the whole revenge angle and how she's involved. Like I really like the layers that it added, and it went back and kind of, revised the history of the season, the first season and Suicide Squad, and made you kind of view it in a different angle. I think it brings a bunch of continuity issues because now you're talking about the original Suicide Squad with June.
Yeah.
And all that, where Ben Affleck's Batman was, and that to me confuses it all up a little bit, but whatever.
I think the Cyborg is up to something too. The Cyborg girl. I think she's up to something.
Yeah, there's something there. There's something there. Well, and two, the thing about so far with this season, the episodes have only been like 30 or 40 minutes. They've been very short so far. But James Gunn already came out and said that the finale is going to be about an hour. So we're clearly going to get more in the finale to kind of wrap things up for the season and set up stuff going forward. So. But yeah, so I don't know if nothing else on there. We can kind of move on unless you got any last thoughts or anything. I just want to clarify. I didn't say The Boys is better than Gen V. I said that I think Gen V season 1 and 2 is better than season 4 of The Boys. Not the first 3 seasons of The Boys. It'll never be topped, right? But I think season 4, like everything after season 3 of The Boys, so the 2 seasons of Gen V and then The Boys season 4 in the middle, I think the Gen V seasons have been better. But but overall, no, I still think the original show is definitely the best. That was Caitlin who thinks Gen V is better overall. I don't agree with that one, and me and her have talked about that too. I'm like, I don't really agree with that one, but Okay, so are you going to be catching up on that soon, Gen V? Or
I will.
Yeah, okay,
I will.
Okay. Yeah, I know. I was kind of the same way. It's like it's hard for me to keep up on a lot of these shows.
Man.
Week to week, man. I'm like, it's. I really got to pick and choose kind of what I can do. And with Peacemaker going on right now, that's
absolutely
the one. That's the one I've been focused.
Oh man, so
I'm not gonna lie. I think I think I've only watched up till episode 4. I really got to catch up on it.
Alien Earth.
Yeah, I'm only to like episode 4.
Alan.
I know. I've heard. You're not the only person I've had telling me like, dude, you need to watch this. I'm like, yeah. Well, and I love the first 4 episodes. I absolutely love them. I know we talked about it before. I loved it, but I'm just time, man. That's
I got you. I'm just adding on. Just watch it if you get a chance.
Yeah.
Please.
Well, maybe I can. I'm hoping I can catch up in the next week. So if you come back on next week, maybe we can talk about it. And even though it's a little late, but maybe we can talk about it and go from there. Okay. So yeah, we'll move on. So big Quentin Tarantino update.
Yes.
He announced that he is going to be essentially releasing. People are calling it a re-release. It's not a re-release, so I kind of want to explain because people. I've known about this for years. It's been a myth and one I've been trying to watch forever. So when Quentin Tarantino made Kill Bill originally, it was never supposed to be 2 movies. He always made it as 1 movie. That's why when he talks about in his interviews where he talks about how, his next film is his 10th film and final film, even though he's already made 10 films, because he views Kill Bill as one movie. As 1 movie. So there's been this
Lionsgate, right? Lionsgate decided to.
And I think they're the ones that are distributing it. So now he had a screening. He has his own theater in California. I don't know if you're aware of that. He owns his own theater. He screened it's called Kill Bill: The Whole Bloody Affair, where essentially they combine the 2 movies. They take out the ending of Volume 1, where he basically does the whole reveal of who Beatrix is and everything like that. And it's all 1 movie. And I've heard about it forever. Everyone who got to see it's like only been shown, I want to say like 5 times in the world. Like he's only ever shown anyone in a handful of times. And everyone always says like this is the definitive way to watch the movie because it flows the best. It's the way he intended originally. So they are now going to release that after the success they had when he released it at his theater as 1 movie. It's 4.5 hours, so very long film. I have heard, it hasn't been officially confirmed, but I've seen some people like who are kind of in the know and know these things say that there's going to be an intermission in the film right around the time where the movie's cut, from Volume 1 to Volume 2. Okay. And I don't know how limited the release is going to be. People have said nationwide so far, but I'm like, I don't know. I've heard that before, and then stuff like that happens. So excitement level for me, absolutely through the roof. I will be there, seated at day 1, whatever the earliest screening I can get. I'm going. I'll get a catheter.
We'll probably link up that.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. No, I'm kidding. I won't do that. I've seen the movie, so I could, if I gotta figure out a moment,
what parts.
I know what I can do, right? And there's not a lot that they add. I guess there is a whole 7-minute animated sequence that kind of adds on to Rishin. Was that her name, Rishin? Am I saying that right? Yeah, Rishin.
I think that's her.
Yeah. So that is like a whole extended sequence, which I'm very excited to see that because I love that portion of Kill Bill Volume 1. Amazing that part. So I'm assuming
Orin Ishii. That's what I'm saying. That's her name.
Yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. Orin, yeah. I always forget her name, honestly. Even though she's like one of the most badass female villains we've ever gotten.
Dude.
I was like, man. I rewatched both movies back when I heard that he was doing the Whole Bloody Affair at his theater because I was just jealous. I was like, damn, man, I really want to go see this. It's like I've heard about this for years. Like he screened it like a year after the original movies came out. So it's always been it's always been something we've heard about, but for some reason, the Lionsgate or whatever distributors are involved with just never wanted him to release this version of the movie.
Lionsgate, they didn't want to.
Why not? Like, dude, if they would have slapped it on the Blu-ray, man, everybody would have wanted to have seen that.
I'm thinking maybe they thought people didn't want to sit for 4.5 hours. So even with
especially
Snyder
from that
cut,
era, like that era of movies, like that was when like The Matrix was cut into 2 parts. Like that was a big thing back in that early 2000s time period. So,
now, it's like, and then it worked with people. I mean, we sat through watching Zack Snyder's cut, and it got such a huge. So them coming out with this and just giving us, I think people be on board. So I'm on board. So I know I'm gonna definitely sit through it.
Yeah. Well, and even with the Snyder cut, like, dude, if we would have got the opportunity, if they would have put that in theaters, we would have absolutely went and saw that in theaters. 100%. 100%. Like, so we got to link up for that one. That I feel like that'll be a good time.
Absolutely.
I'm hoping we get to be one of the areas that has a theater, showing it. Because I'm like, that's the only thing I hope is that, when tickets go on sale, they're like, oh yeah, only in Columbus or only in Michigan or something, I don't want that. I'm like, I I'd be so upset if that happens.
Nah, please don't do that.
Yeah, I'll be.
I think Cleveland would be a place though that he'll
You would
have a
think.
show.
Yeah, you would think.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we got some pretty big theaters right around here, so I imagine. I imagine that we could get.
It's gonna go on sale real quick though.
I'll hit you up. I'll grab your ticket if you're down immediately. And we'll figure all that stuff out later.
Okay.
Because I know those are gonna go fast, dude. Like those are gonna go quick.
Oh yeah, super fast.
Yeah. So okay, we'll move on. But yeah, very excited. Obviously, we're both huge Quentin Tarantino fans, so anytime something like that is gonna happen, we're gonna be there. So all right, so let's move on. We shall move on to a franchise that I didn't think I was going to be talking about for this reason. Fast 11. So actually, let me start off. Did you see Fast X?
No,
the one with Jason Momoa? No.
And the crazy thing is, I heard that his performance was amazing. I'm just not a fan of this franchise, man. Like, it went from street guys to military to space. No, I'm cool.
I think Fast 5 was probably the peak of like the action portion of this franchise, right? Because it wasn't as crazy at that point. But in 9 they went to space. They brought in John Cena as Vin Diesel's brother, which I mean, like, in what world do they have any blood relation whatsoever? I don't know. And then in the last movie, they tried to bring it back. So like I begrudgingly, because I grew up on this franchise and I loved it in its original day, I begrudgingly just kind of watched the last couple movies and still stuck with it, even though I don't want to, and I don't actually like these movies anymore. The last film kind of tried to bring it back because I think they realized with 9, with going to space, they were like, okay, maybe we got a little crazy there, from doing that. But it was still fucking absolutely illogical, ridiculous. Nothing made sense. The problem with it, though, is that it ended on like a million different cliffhangers. So I'll just spoil it because I know you probably don't care. I don't remember. Jason Momoa like blew up a cliff and caused Dom to like fall down the cliff, and we don't really know his fate, everything like that. John Cena died off screen, so we don't really think he's alive, but we don't know. They kind of just left it there. Gal Gadot's character came back somehow. She's alive, which, don't really explain how that happened. And then at the very end, The Rock returns and is back as Hobbs, and Jason Momoa is going after him because Jason Momoa essentially plays the son of the villain from Fast 5. So that guy who like they did the heist from and everything, he's his son. So he wants revenge on The Rock too because it's his son, right? So they leave all these cliffhangers open to go into the finale of Fast 11. And now it's being reported essentially that Universal is not sure they're even going to go through with making this film because it's way over budget. And essentially every single film in the franchise has gotten a higher budget and also dwindled, like gotten lower box office returns every single time.
You
because people don't care. Yeah, people don't care about it anymore.
This feels like Expendables.
Exactly. Yeah, and not in a good way either. Man. Like in just the worst way possible. Yeah, in just the worst way you can think. And it was weird too because Vin Diesel, came out. I want to say it was like 6 months ago, and he basically was like, "Oh, Universal says they want it by 2027. They want me to take it back to LA and take it to like a street level, and then they want to bring back Brian O'Connor." And I'm like, okay, well, for one, the dude was like 70 pounds overweight. I'm like, I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, he's not crazy.
He's not even in shape at all anymore, So that's kind of a problem when in the movie he's basically the Hulk in what he can do and his abilities.
Man.
So it just felt weird though when he came out and said that a couple months ago. Like everyone was like, "Is this real or is this just him trying to make it happen?" Well, now it looks like it was just him trying to make it happen, and because it's on the verge of just not happening at this point.
Thank God.
Supposedly, yeah, it's crazy. I'm like, I never thought this franchise. I guess it's a good example of what greed does to you, right? I mean, nobody thought that this franchise would go this low, but because of the fact they overdid it and they just kept going when they shouldn't have, now it's karma, right? And it's coming back. Supposedly, though, there's no approved script. They have no actual release date, and I guess most of the cast don't even have deals to come back. So they're basically saying, unless we can cut like $50 or $100 million, like that's it. Bye bye. We're not doing this. So is what it is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just give me if Vin Diesel is gonna play Chronicles of Riddick.
Yeah. Hey, he's good at. I like those movies. I think
like
those movies are fun.
Man.
Yeah.
Instead of Fast 11. Man,
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah. I mean, I'm okay with them just doing one last one to just kind of say bye, right? Like this franchise should have ended like 5 movies ago, if we're being honest, but they just too long. But yeah, I just thought that was crazy because I'm like, man, Universal. Like I've been to the Universal parks. Like they have a big ride, big Fast and Furious ride there. So it's like a big. Oh yeah, I mean it's the worst ride in the park, to be honest with you. I guess it's an indication of the series as a whole. The ride sucks.
We gonna ride this whole thing out.
It's terrible, bro. It's like the worst ride in the whole park. Which I guess that's an indication of what the series is now at this point. But so it's I don't know. It's kind of it's it's like that old guy in SpongeBob with where his son's selling chocolates and he's just like deceased in the wheelchair. That's basically what it is at this point.
Dude, you know what? Remember when we went to go see that Hellboy and we almost walked out?
Oh,
that's what
dude.
I feel like it would have been. Like if they made this and we went to go see this movie.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I actually saw 10 when I was on vacation with Caitlin in Florida, and I made her go see it with me, and she was pissed. She was like, "Yeah, don't ever invite me to see these movies ever again." And I'm like, honestly, that's fair,
Yeah.
I'm like, at this point, I think I have to agree with you, and I can't keep dragging you to see these movies because they're freaking terrible at this point. So. Yeah. All right, let's just move on. I don't really want to waste any more time talking about that franchise because it's maybe the next time we talk about it, it'll be hey, it's canceled and we're done. So yeah,
or they finally just torched the whole franchise,
the whole thing. Yeah.
And no more rides at
Universally. They closed the ride too.
They closed the ride too. Yeah, it's over with.
All right, so we'll go ahead and move on. Obviously, we have a new Game of Thrones spinoff coming.
Yes.
Yeah, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. I'm going to pull it up here. Hold on one second. Because I actually have the poster that they released. Give me 1 second here. Sorry, I should have had this a little better prepared. It's my first time screen sharing, so give me... There we go. Okay. So boom. So this is the poster essentially they released. It says a tall tale that became legend. So I don't know if you're even familiar with like what this series is going to be.
Yeah, dude. I'm a huge
I'm really not familiar.
The lore. Oh, dude. So Duncan the Tall is I don't want to really spoil because I'm huge. So here's how I look at Game of Thrones, the lore. It's on par with The Hobbits, and it's on par with Star Wars. If you look at the Game of Thrones lore, it's huge, dude.
Yeah.
So why I'm excited for this is because now they're letting me know that they're gonna probably move forward with telling a lot of the stories with individual characters, which they can do forever.
Yeah.
Like Game of Thrones is just like that was just like the end game of
everything. Yeah.
Of everything. But they can go all the way back to like when Aegon Aegon Targaryen united the seven kingdoms.
Yeah.
So telling these small stories, I'm fine with, man. Especially with this. This is one of my favorite knights in the lore, Sir Duncan the Tall. Um, and so if they're gonna tell that story, I'm not gonna say any, like with the lore or anything like that. But if I'm not mistaken, he fought the Hound, and so if they bring that into the, oh man, that's gonna be real good. So yeah, them telling these small stories, which I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna, because they talked to J.R. Martin, and I think they're really gonna get into like telling just going full throttle with telling like where some of these houses were, because in Game of Thrones those houses were dissolved. So now
Demolished. Yeah.
they're coming back and bringing all those houses and letting you know where those houses were, and all. So I'm cool with this, bro.
So
I'm excited.
I was gonna say I'm familiar with a lot of the lore. I'm just not familiar with this particular story, because I know it's adapting the Hedge Knight. That's the novel essentially that they're adapting here, and it's essentially like where the Targaryens are still in power, but the dragons are gone. I know, so this is obviously post House of the Dragon and what they told in that story, and Fire and Blood and stuff. So I guess I'm not familiar with like Sir Duncan. Right, the Tall. Is that the main? I'm assuming that's the main character that we're going to get in this show, and stuff. But obviously,
you gotta think, Alan. With the Targaryens, it wasn't that long. When we got into Game of Thrones, Robert Baratheon was only king for about 10 years?
It was like 10 or 15 years or something like that.
Yeah, so it wasn't that far off. That was still all, so I think, so my bad.
And I think they said this is 100 years before the main story, before like the Game of Thrones that we got in the show and everything, the main storyline. So
see, I thought this was I don't know, because I thought
maybe I read that wrong.
I'm sorry. No. You're right. He fought somebody else. It wasn't the Hound. I'm tripping. He fought somebody else.
I'm sorry. I got it here. It was 50 years after the death of the last dragon. So essentially this is going to be 50 years after Fire and Blood and that whole storyline.
Yeah. Okay. Because this, why I'm excited for this too is then I think you're going to get a lot more of Sir Barristan. You're going to get a lot more of what's my boy, man? Oh my God. He taught Jaime Lannister how to
I'm blanking on his name. Yeah, but I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Dude. Yeah. So if I'm going to get give me all of this, dude. You could do so many spinoffs with Game of Thrones. I'm cool with that, man.
Well, and it seems like the way that George R.R. Martin wants it, because they already confirmed that House of the Dragon, I think, is only going 4 seasons, I believe. I could be wrong on that, but I know it's not too many more seasons. Like, they're not trying to kind of drag it out and make it longer than it needs to be. So,
no, they're going straight in.
Yeah, so I like that they're kind of introducing new shows to introduce new stories, but not spending, like, we're not going to be here for 8 seasons. So it's kind of like, all right, get to the point quick and be efficient. Now, obviously, I wasn't a huge fan of House of the Dragon season 2. I'll be honest. I thought that.
Really?
I thought it. We got like 7 episodes with what's his name stuck in the castle. I can't remember his name right now.
You talking about the king, or you talking about?
No, not Aemon. Was it Aemon?
You talking about?
He's married. He's married to the girl. Why am I drawing so many blanks right now? He's like the main guy. Matt Smith plays him. I can't remember his name.
Hold on. He's not the king.
No, he's married to the.
He was stuck in the castle?
Daemon, that's who I'm thinking of. Daemon.
Oh, okay.
Daemon. Yeah, Daemon. Yeah. I'm like, why am I drawing a blank right now? Yeah, Daemon. But no, it's like in season 2, he spent like 7 episodes in this castle having hallucinations And the war didn't really progress. Like, I don't know, it just kind of felt like a filler season. Like season 1 was so like out the gate and so like in your face, and just the plot was progressing so quickly, and then we kind of just took a halt in season 2. So I'm hoping season 3 kind of gets more into the war.
Yeah, I think season 3 is going to start the dance of the dragons.
Yeah. Well, but that was the thing. We thought in going from season 1 to 2 that the dance was going to start in season 2, and then we get a whole season where the dance hasn't started. So I'm like, okay,
right.
You know,
so
like,
I think they were just trying to fill in these blanks.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot going on. There was a lot of things that just like left off, even when old boy left his dragon, and his dragon might have chosen somebody else.
Yeah.
So I think it was what's the name's son, Valerian, who went off with his, because he didn't want to. They faked his death, and he wound up going off. So then his dragon. So it was a lot of things that was left. So I was cool with season 2 because it kind of just like filled in some stuff for me, and then you're seeing that setup with Damon and his nephew.
Dude,
that they're gonna get.
I know
so.
how that ends in the book too. So I'm very, very much looking forward to that. That's
you know what I need? I need 2 episodes of that.
Yeah.
Give me 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Of that.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, hey, if we still got 2 seasons left, then that's a possibility. We're gonna probably get there, for something like that. So, what's up, Darren? He said January is an interesting release date for it. I kind of agree, because typically Game of Thrones is like fall, right? It's usually like October, November, September, right around that range. I think obviously just because they're doing multiple shows now, that's probably why. Maybe this is the one where they think they're not like 100% sure it's going to be a hit. So maybe that's why they're putting in January, to kind of see how it plays and
I can
go from there. But I'm still excited. Like anything in this universe, like you said, it's such a rich universe and world that I think no matter what, I'm going to be excited when there's a new project, and I'm going to give it a chance. I knew after season 8 fumbled so badly, and then we came back with House of the Dragon. I was like, okay, even though that was so bad, like that's clearly not an indication of what's going to happen in the future. So I'm still excited for it, and I'm definitely looking forward to this new series.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we will move on. So Predator Badlands obviously just released a new trailer, and it looks great. You sent it to me. I didn't even know it released. I saw your message, and I was like, oh, shit, all right, cool. And everything I've seen from this, it looks amazing. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of Prey. I thought Prey was fantastic, and this is the same guy who's back. He's getting a big budget. He's getting the Hollywood main release, not on Hulu, direct to streaming like Prey was. And everything about it just looks great. Having a movie from the perspective of the Predator and essentially making the Predator kind of like a hero. I don't know how fully that's going to play in. Obviously, we have Dakota Fanning as the Wayland robot, so I really want to see how that dynamic.
I thought it was her sister. Is that her sister?
Is it? Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's Elle Fanning. That's right. I'm sorry.
Elle Fanning. Yeah.
Elle Fanning is the one that's in this. I always get them because they're like identical.
They look exactly just alike.
Yeah, man. So I always get them mixed up. And Dakota's obviously the one too that like she had a lot of movies growing up for me. It's being
yeah.
She was the scary girl in a lot of movies when I was growing up. So
yeah.
I always think of her first, but yeah. So Elle Fanning. Yeah, I mean, I loved the trailer. I thought the trailer was great. Everything I know we've talked about this before, but everything we have been shown about this film, I have no reservations. I think it's going to be great. This is the first news that I got where I'm like, that's a little disappointing. It's PG-13. They just announced today. Yeah. And I have read, though, some things that had me a little bit feeling better about it, where basically that the only reason it's PG-13 is because there's no human blood in the movie. He's obviously on this planet where he is fighting other monsters and hunting other monsters. So the violence, from what I've been told and what I've seen, is still there. It's going to be a very violent movie. in the
Yeah.
same nature that a Predator movie is, but it's just
Right.
not humans. So
Right.
therefore, they were able to get away with making it a PG-13 movie. So as
Right.
long as that is true, I'm okay with it, because then it just opens it up for more people to see it and to get
Right.
more invested into this franchise. So what do you have the same thoughts on that as me, or how do you feel about it?
Yeah.
Because I
I-
will say, the last movie that we got that was PG-13 from Predator was the very first Alien vs. Predator movie, which I liked growing up. I thought it was actually kind of fun, but it was a movie that I think had a lot of wasted potential by being PG-13.
yeah. Then the cast was kind of weird for me too. Sanaa
Yeah, the acting was
Lathan,
terrible.
and yeah, it was
Yeah, it was
terrible,
terrible.
man.
Yeah.
So no, so I'm like getting into the I don't even think he's like a hero. Like I think it's just telling the story of how they I don't know if I'm spoiling it for you because I kind of know the story.
Okay. I mean,
Um,
you could say it. It's fine if it's
so I don't know
I
how
mean,
you feel.
no, yeah, go ahead. I mean, it's not.
So pretty much, yeah, he's like the runt of the clan, and so he's kind of like trying to prove himself by going to this planet, and he's uh so his father's like, matter of fact, you see his brother. That's his brother he's talking to when he's talking about if you go here, if you fail, you're gonna die. His brother is
Okay.
also fighting his father in that if you see the two predators fighting, that's his brother and his father fight. So I don't know necessarily
Okay.
think he's a hero. It's just more so of um
It's
he's
more from his
proven himself.
perspective. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. And so I'm excited about that, especially with the dialogue between the Yauchos. We've never had that.
No.
And so getting this part, this seems like more of the comic book version of the Predator, than just trying to put a story. You're really just telling the side of the Predator that we just haven't seen on screen yet.
Yeah.
Also, if you look at the skulls, one of the skulls is from the Independence Day aliens.
Really?
Yeah, it's an Easter. Go back and watch it.
Oh,
And shout out to Emergency Awesome. He always puts on like he broke it down
I didn't
and
watch the
he
video you sent me yet. I got to go back and watch
watched
that.
that video and
Yeah.
they dropped this this he dropped that little Easter egg. Also too we know this is Waylon Yakati or whatever from
Yeah.
so it's not the person that the one that's directing and doing Alien Earth, he didn't rule out that this is going to be a crossover. He just said right now, they're just dropping tidbits,
Yeah.
but he's not ruling it out. He's not ruling it out. So I think in the future we're gonna get because like if you watch the trailer, you've seen that big tentacle thing. I think that's the full grown version of that eyeball in Alien Earth, the little eyeball.
Okay.
So I think they're just right now they're just I don't want to say play. They're just playing around, just throwing in little tidbits here and there to try to get us,
try to do it.
And then
Yeah.
as time goes on, they're not going to give us much, but as time goes on, then they're going to go ahead and just cross it over.
It seems like they're actually trying to like slowly build to it, not just rush into it like those original two movies were, and just kind of slowly get there through good movies and good projects, like Alien Earth and like Predator, Badlands, Prey, stuff like that. And I don't know if this is true because again, I'm not caught up fully, but I've seen people say, and you can just confirm it without spoiling anything, but I've seen people say that some of the stuff that they show you in the last couple episodes of Alien Earth tend to kind of give you an idea of like maybe where the crossover is going to happen and how it's going to happen.
Yeah, because you just know what Waylon Yukati, I think that's the name. They're into what they're trying to do, so it just all kind of connects. What the ship that ship was sent on with the the one guy who's the sentient, that the black guy who's the security guard, he
Yeah.
kind of tells you, this ship was pretty much going out to find different species of aliens.
Okay.
Because aliens is just not about the xenomorph. It's more so about all these different species of aliens. And then if you watch Alien Earth, it kind of leaves on that
A little bit more.
cliffhanger on what's to
Yeah.
come on. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, you're absolutely. It's getting into what Wayland Industries is getting, pretty much what they've been into.
Okay.
Just So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to catch up for sure, and we're gonna have to
Mhm.
talk about a little bit more on Alien
Absolutely,
Earth,
man.
kind of where it's gonna be. Well, because I know this is coming out next month. I think it's November 5th or so.
Yeah.
So this, Predator's coming pretty quickly. That's definitely one we got to link up for because
Definitely. Yeah.
definitely not going to be one Caitlin's going to want to see with me. So yeah, we'll figure out a day and we'll definitely link up for that one for sure.
Okay. Cool.
All right, so we'll move on. So, they had the Sam Raimi re-release of the original Spider-Man trilogy. So that was kind of creating some buzz. I got to go see the first two. They did the first. Basically, it was 2 weekends. Friday on both weekends, it was Friday was the first, Saturday was the second, Sunday was third. Did that for 2 weekends in a row. So I got to go see the first two. I didn't get a chance to go see three.
Okay.
And it was great. It was so awesome to see those movies on the big screen. Very timeless films. Ones that I think no matter what, you'll always get enjoyment out of, especially in a theater. And for me, like I hadn't seen them in theater since originally seeing them when I was, 6, 7 years old when they first came out. So that was really great. So that's kind of started to create a little bit of a buzz, on possibly reviving this particular series, the Raimi verse, and doing a Spider-Man 4 and doing like a proper conclusion. Kristen Dunst in an interview, because I think she's doing a movie right now with Channing Tatum. So she's on like a press tour and everything. And she was asked about it. And pretty much everyone who's been involved who wants to return has kind of talked about a story where in a fourth film, they really explore Peter and MJ being parents. I'm someone who tends to always believe when there is smoke, there is fire. So when I hear multiple people who are involved, because I think it was like a writer who said that he wanted to work with Sam Raimi to create this, kind of gave the same ideas on the film. So a part of me, and again, this is just based off nothing, no real knowledge. A part of me thinks that Sam Raimi has written a story that he wants to do for Spider-Man 4. After No Way Home and him being involved with the MCU and stuff now, I would be all for that. I think the audience would be able to understand now because of No Way Home that this is a different Spider-Man. It's not stepping on the toes of what we're doing with, Brand New Day and Tom Holland's version of the character. I would love to see it. I think it'll do $1 billion at the box office easily. You got to think that like those movies came in a time when like comic book movies didn't hit $1 billion. Like all three of them, I think, were around that like 800 million range. So it's like, if they did one now, it would absolutely kill it and at the box office. And like I said, I don't think it would step on the toes of a Tom Holland movie or a Tom Holland series.
No, it's Spider-Man.
Yeah, like and again, I think No Way Home did a lot of work establishing like, hey, these are not the same Spider-Man. These are all different universes, so people can understand it. It's not going to confuse anyone.
No.
I think people because I've seen some people like, well, then why is it going to be confusing if we're going to have two separate Batman in the DCU? And I'm like, yeah, but like they
didn't set nothing up to.
Yeah, and they didn't interact with each other on screen. Like Tom Holland and Tobey Maguire were together on screen. Like it really happened and showed us. So I think it could be done. Like I said, the theater experience I had seeing the first one, I'm like, yeah, this would be off the chain if they did a Spider-Man 4. I think it would the reception, the money would be crazy. I just don't know if there's some type of deal or restrictions because of the deal between Sony and Marvel
Okay.
of whether or not they can or can't do it. But yeah, how would you feel if they announced
it's
it?
still. I mean, I'm all for it. I mean,
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. The only one I did not like was 3 because of how it seemed rushed. You know, you could have told, and I think that's always been my issue with Sony and Fox, is that you could have told these stories like they were instead of trying to rush it. And even with Fox doing that Galactus thing, and then
the Cloud,
the Cloud, like, and then
so bad
with
so bad.
with Venom, like Venom's a huge character.
Yeah.
You don't do Venom like that. Like,
it was that. Well, obviously, Topher Grace being Venom was terrible casting. Terrible casting. I will say though, his design, like when he's in the whole Venom costume.
Oh yeah, it was dope.
It looks good. It looks good. But he was not Eddie Brock. That was
no. For God's sakes.
Like me or you could have played that better, to be honest with you. It was not good.
It was terrible, man.
Yeah,
it was terrible. So, but I'm a fan of the Tobey Maguire franchise. I definitely. I don't know if they would. And I'm with you. I don't think it would be an issue with Brand New Day.
Yeah.
Especially all the stuff that's coming out about Brand New Day and all the characters. You've already established Tom Holland, so it ain't nothing messing with that. No. But to bring a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man older version and kind of telling that, man, dude, I think it'll be, if I'm Sony, I'm hollering at Marvel like, hey, man.
Yeah. Well, and you got like, Sam Raimi already involved with the MCU.
Yeah. Like, so that's what I'm saying. Like
he wants to do it. He's always said, and I think too, a part of it is, I don't think people would be clamoring for it as much if Spider-Man 3 would have been a solid conclusion to that trilogy.
Yeah.
If that would have been a really good movie and as good as the first two, I don't think we would really be clamoring for it as much to have a fourth film. But I think it was just like that 3 left such a sour taste in the fans' mouths. Sam Raimi came out and basically said, like, hey, I was handicapped essentially on what we did here. I didn't want to do Venom. I didn't want to have all these villains in the film. So I think if that wasn't as bad as it was, we wouldn't even be here. We wouldn't even be wanting a fourth film, And it's the same thing. I think personally that all 3 of the Spider-Man are great. So even if they said that they're going to do an Amazing Spider-Man 3 with Andrew Garfield, I'd be down with that too. I don't, and it's because of where those series ended that I think that's why we clamor at least for one more, right? Like I don't even really want Tobey to come back for like a full trilogy or anything. I just want one last film.
Just one last film,
just one last send-off and, say that. But, obviously I think, too, he's going to have, like, a conclusion to his character in Doomsday and Secret Wars, so I don't think, even if we don't get the movie, that we won't get a proper resolution. But, I just I feel like it's a no-brainer. I'm like, I just feel like Sony would make so much money by doing it. And it's almost like, why not? Why wouldn't you do it? So...
I would be for it. I'll be all for it.
I feel like they know that too. Like, there's no way they don't. Like, they have to know that they would make so much money by doing it. Like
the way you set it up in No Way Home with Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, and how they meshed together so well.
Yeah.
Man, that was written so well. So I think if you did another Andrew Garfield and another Tobey Maguire, man, you've already told the story about the multiverse. You've already it's so to me, it's aligned for it to be that way. I think fans are expecting it. If you say right now that we're gonna come out with a Amazing Spider-Man 3 and a Spider-Man 4, I think the fans will be all for it.
I'm gonna be honest with you. After No Way Home, when I walked out of the theater, I thought it was almost damn near a guarantee that was going to happen.
Yes.
When I walked out of No Way Home, I'm like, oh, we're getting They're all
Yep.
three of these Spider-Men are going to get another solo movie.
Yep.
And
That's
then
what
we
I thought.
didn't, and I
Same
was
thing.
very surprised that at this point we haven't gotten it, and
Yeah.
that's why I wonder. I'm like, is it have something to do with like we obviously don't know the details of the agreement between Marvel and Sony. Is there some stipulation in there that says like they can only show up in a Tom Holland movie or in an Avengers movie? Because I'm like,
Yeah.
that's the only thing to me that makes sense as to why this hasn't been greenlit yet, because
Yeah.
you're printing money 3 times because you're going to make $1 billion with Holland, you're going to make $1 billion with Garfield, and you're going to make $1 billion with Maguire. So it's I don't know. Yep. That's one of those things where I'm like, I would love to know what the decision making is behind this and why you're not doing it. Because then too, everyone seems to want to do it also. So
Yep. You got the cast. Everybody want to do it. Everybody want to see it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, so we'll move on to our last topic. So obviously, Doomsday is in production. I think it already wrapped principal filming, so not like reshoots or anything. But the main filming for Doomsday has officially wrapped. I'll go ahead and pull back up a tweet. Give me 1 second here that the Russo brothers sent out, being very cryptic. I don't know why, they tend to want to play games with the audience after everything that happened with Endgame. So I'm going to show it here real quick. So they tweeted this photo and said, "Look hard." This photo basically is just what looks like green screen and some of the sets for the film. And what I imagine is Robert Downey Jr. sitting in the chair. I don't really know. Some people have speculated on who it is. There's been a lot of rumors, though, on what they think might be happening here. The main theory I've read is that essentially they're secretly doing a third Avengers movie. It's not only going to be Doomsday and Secret Wars. So a lot of people are thinking with who they cast and everything that this movie actually is not going to be Doomsday, and it's going to be an Avengers versus X-Men film, which, kind of coincides with some of the leaks I've heard, and I know you've probably heard the same ones about how a big portion of this film is the Avengers going up against those older X-Men, essentially. So yeah, where are you at with that? Do you think that maybe there is secretly a third film that they're doing, and is it going to be the Avengers versus X-Men? Is that where we're heading towards at this point?
I would love that.
Yeah.
If they give me Avengers versus X-Men.
Even with the older ones, because I know you weren't that happy.
I'm not. Yeah, that's probably the only thing. But then I seen a picture of Scott Summers, old boy Scott Summers, with the new
the comic accurate uniform.
Yeah. So man. I was like, I don't know. Hold up. Because then I think they're using a lot of, I guess, CGI.
Yeah.
Hold on 1 second.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
What? Oh, no, I'll make it. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. 25? What? I wouldn't have never came this way. They never told me that. Oh, my God. Hold on.
I'm real quick. I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Just let me know when you want to come back. All right. So yeah, I'll kind of continue here. He got a little busy there. Yeah. So I don't know. I've seen a lot about what we're doing here, and the rumor about there being a third film that they're secretly doing, and it's not just going to be. It's not going to be just Doomsday and Secret Wars. If it ends up being an Avengers versus X-Men, I think that will be great, and I think that will be kind of where we're headed here. I know with the cast reveal that they gave us, it was a lot of the new Avengers cast, and then a lot of those old X-Men characters. So I do think that if that's the route that they go, it would also to allow for more development of the storyline, because obviously that's been a lot of people's complaint with switching from Kang to Doom, is that we're kind of just rushing straight into Doom. We haven't gotten much with him, and then adding a third film, right? I think will do kind of a good job with the legwork of building that story up with Doom a little bit more, and setting that up a little bit too. Obviously, too, when you look at the uh, when you look at some of those leaked concept art photos that I know came out a couple months ago, or not even, it was, I think it's been like 6 months at this point. A lot of them kind of showed Battle World, and I think everyone's assumptions were that that was going to be more explored in Secret Wars as opposed to Doomsday. But I don't know. I just feel like if we're going to Battle World, we're doing Battle World. There is a lot that they need to explore, and a lot that they need to go through. So I would kind of be open to the idea of a title change and maybe an additional movie. I mean, some people have suggested too that it won't be called Doomsday. It'll just be an Avengers versus X-Men story, and then we kind of head straight into Secret Wars. Obviously, too, there's also been the running rumor that Secret Wars is going to be split. Like there'll be a Secret Wars Part 1, Secret Wars Part 2. And if they do that, I'd be okay with that as well. I just think, in general, I think in general, a third movie would benefit this storyline and would make it work better. So I'm excited for it. And, the Russo brothers, like, again, kind of putting out this picture. And the people that are saying Avengers vs. X-Men, because you got the A here, right? And then you got the X kind of up in the corner over there on the things. But, I don't know. This looks like an entire green screen set, right? And we've already been kind of confirmed by Alan Cummings that he filmed all of his stuff on green screen. He didn't really actually get to work with any of the actors. So for me, I don't know. I just don't feel. I don't feel like it's too out of the realm of possibilities. That hey, we're expanding into a third film, and we're changing the title. Maybe Avengers vs. X-Men comes first. Then we do Doomsday, then we do Secret Wars, or like I said, maybe it's just Avengers vs. X-Men, Secret Wars Part 1, Secret Wars Part 2, or Doomsday is just not the title, right? And maybe with Doomsday, they want to, maybe like originally they wanted to title it as Doomsday just to kind of introduce the idea that Robert Downey Jr. is coming back as Iron Man, but they don't really want to stick with that. So, yeah, I think it's all kind of fun to theorize on exactly what they're going to do here. I think, with the MCU and the way that it's kind of turned out in the last couple films, right, with Thunderbolts this year, Fantastic Four, we're on a hot streak. And, people, I think, are right to have some trepidations about where Doomsday and Secret Wars are going. But I think they're gonna end up pulling it out, and I think adding a third film would actually give me more confidence. So they're going to do that because then they have a little more time to develop the story, build Doom up as a villain throughout 3 movies rather than 2. So yeah, I am excited if that's what they're going to do. It might have just been a nothing burger, right? The Russos might have been just trying to build up hype and kind of make people guess. I know they did kind of something similar with Endgame where they made the prediction and everything like that. So, yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. I don't know if Ronell is going to be rejoining us, so I think that might be it. Just because I'm not really getting any response from him or anything like that. So I think that's going to be it for today. Really appreciate anyone who commented and was engaging. Like I said, I plan on doing the stream every week. Sometimes portions of the stream will be just me, like with reviewing films. I am planning on seeing Tron Ares this week. I don't know what day specifically, but I will be seeing it sometime this weekend. And then I'll probably review that next week, and then obviously talk about more more news and stuff like that. So so I just plan on doing this every week, kind of clipping everything from the show and putting that up on TikTok just in case you can't watch the whole show. I know we tend to go a little long here, so yeah. So again, really enjoyed this. Thanks everyone who tuned in. Thanks for everyone who left a comment. Thanks for support. I really love doing this, and I love talking movies. It's one of my favorite pastimes. So I appreciate you guys being here. Obviously, my name is Alan. My socials mostly are all AG Reviews 216. You can always search me by AG Reviews. I'm on TikTok, YouTube, and X. That's usually where I tweet mostly daily. Not always, but mostly daily. And then obviously my content is both on YouTube and TikTok. So you can follow me on there. And I'll keep pumping stuff out. And again, thank you everyone for joining, and see everyone next week.